Yeah, so hello. Yeah, you kind of caught me on my best, so yeah, sorry about the hair. So this is just going to be a quick, short video explaining all this stuff, all this Tim stuff. That's my name, by the way. If you know me or don't know me, yeah. So I'll try and be as concise as I can. So basically, I've been on a journey in the last 20, 23, 24 years, something like that. Probably just shy, maybe. More like 23, maybe 22. So a long time. So basically, when I was in my late teens, I had this very quite strange experience with God. Where God just visited me, kind of did. Well, he did. I was going to say he did a load of stuff, but he didn't. He didn't actually do a load of stuff. He did one thing very simply. Just told me what he wanted me to do in my life, what the purpose of my life was for. So I've kind of been on a journey then. Obviously, that kind of experience, and I won't go into that because it's just too hard to explain. On some, part of these videos is just to keep it simple, stupid. So yeah, so the idea really is to I'm going all over the place, so I'm sorry. To do like quite short, sharp, but in-depth videos. So you've probably seen other stuff on the internet, maybe like an hour long, so I'd probably want to do something 15-20 minutes and just cover the basics and just kind of start a conversation. So why am I doing that? So that happened to me a long time ago. There have been 2 or 3 times where I've had similar experiences. So one was coming down from a mountain on the 20th of March 2010, and kind of obviously given the initial experience, those other experiences then kind of change your life in the context of they're similar experiences, but they're rooted and grounded from the original experience. So it's kind of God tweaking what he originally did and providing some kind of depth and redirection. So anyway, that's a whole story which we do not have time to get into. I could literally talk about that for a day. So yeah, we'll do our stuff in other videos. So I'll just discuss that, what happened, and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Yeah, it's not the point of this video. So that happened, and what happened is I began to jot stuff down, and soon realised I had enough to write most of a book. So I started writing a book. During writing that book, I stopped writing that book, and God kind of interrupted it, and I started writing another book. So I finished that second idea of the book first, went back to the second book and finished it. So I think would have been last year I finished that book. I don't really want to go into them. So yeah, that's for another video as well. And then I kind of always had this idea of what the third book should be, but it was a little bit unclear what it should be about. So I started gathering all my experiences of what God had been saying to me in that 20 years, and that's quite a lot of stuff. So some of it's very, what you call maybe a bit more heavy, a bit more serious, something you'd have to think through. Quite a lot of it actually not so, just little snippets of kind of downloads really of information. So anyway, I started writing that book, and it became very clear what that book should be about and where it was heading while I was writing it. So I was going to call it Second Coming of the Church, which is quite a crazy title. So the idea of the book is what God is going to do prophetically and has been doing prophetically. So kind of the shift really was from what has been taking place to what is going to take place and connecting the two. So yeah, kind of the idea in that obviously is that, Second Coming, we all know what that's about. But like God's going to do something in the church and with the church in the world in the next decade. So, pretty specific. So between 2020 and 2030. And yeah, so I started writing that book. So I'll explain that again a bit more in another video. this is just meant to be an intro video, so it's got 5 minutes long already, so it's getting quite long already, so I'll try and kiss it, as they say. So yeah, I started writing the book, and pretty much got to a point where I've almost finished it, and then something happened to me. So the book actually sort of took 3 sort of themes. It took a very prophetic theme of like, this is what I think is going to happen and the reasons why, and then it took a very strategical theme, more than a kind of what you might call a more apostolic direction in terms of being more strategical. And the third bit was just basic examples of the strategical, but in a sense where we maybe do church and we're not thinking about why we're doing church that way. So it's kind of moving from the strategical, thinking about, well, why do we do church this way? What is the reasoning? And then actually some experiential things that on my journey that God showed me, and like, well, this isn't quite right. We maybe elevate this to a higher stature. We put it on a biblical, scriptural framework, and it's not. And that we do things, and we actually do them because we're traditionalists, we're religionists, and we don't think about that, so we don't actually realise we're practicing religion. So really boils down to just some little, again, simple practical tips. So it ended up being practical, prophetic, and strategical. Now, not that I had a strange... Well, yeah, I had a strange experience with God on the 20th of September 2018, which is a little while back, and it wasn't kind of up there with the other ones in terms of weirdness. It was quite non-weird, but yeah, God kind of spoke into the situation again and said, you know, basically this is what's happening. And I kind of thought to myself, sort of, God, I said to God, are you saying to me stop writing the book? And he said yes. So basically, well, I'm kind of 90% into finishing first version of a third book I'm writing, which is supposed to be a trilogy, and God tells me to stop. So, you know, basically, yeah, I just stop. So one of the producers of that is, for me, obviously, moving from one trying to interpret God's saying, which is kind of you moving from season into a new season, so that kind of yesterday's dead. It's the old thing. Hence why I've got to stop writing the book. And today's a new thing. And then really kind of more strategically in terms of what God's been saying to me. And obviously that goes beyond just for me, but in the God's stuff that obviously that for me is very, on the one hand, very personal. It's a message for me, but in the same context of what God's saying and the wider picture, it's not about me. It's about what's going on in the church and the world. So the really me adapting to what God's saying, and me having to adapt to what God's saying about what he's saying about what's going to happen in the church and the world. And that's kind of a whole other subject and a whole bunch of videos. So basically that's what I'm doing. And that's it really, basically. That is enough to keep it simple, stupid. So that's kind of the base background storyline, and we'll just leave it at that. So thanks for watching, listening, whatever, and stay tuned.